What's up, boys and girls? So, I think we all know my affinity for beef, and I do steaks a lot. One of the big things I just like to eat, simple, is steak, fries, salad. I could live off that shit. If it was just me, that's probably what I would eat 95% of the time, but the wife don't like that. She likes it, not every day. So, oddly enough, as simple as it is, I really do my steaks, no frills, no nothing. I actually get a lot of messages about steaks, how I do my steaks. So I figured, what the hell, let's make a steak. So this is what I do. Now typically, here we got a ribeye here. Now, I've had a lot of people ask about meat and things like that. I always buy roasts. I buy everything in roasts. When I see them on sale, I'll grab one, I'll come home, I butcher them up, throw them in the freezer. If I see something, I grab it, this and that, you know, so that way I always have good meat and I'm not spending a fortune doing it. So, like I'll find a New York strip beef loin roast, I'll slice them up, make some nice steaks. I get ribeye roasts all the time. Keep an eye on them for sale. I'll snag one up, cut a nice prime rib roast out of it, slice some steaks, this and that. So, but what I do is I find I don't like thin steaks. Nobody likes thin steaks. But I'm not gonna sit and eat a 2-pound steak myself either, even though I would completely do it and suffer the rest of the night. So what I do is I cut them into these little, well, they're not little, but they're big. And after I cook them, I slice them up. And we don't usually sit and eat a full steak. Like if it's me and my wife, sometimes the kids don't want steak, they'll eat something else, whatever. I'll cut it in half, I'll eat half, my wife will eat half, whatever. We have anything, if it's us and the kids, they both want to eat, all four of us want to eat. I'll cook the steak as a whole because I find they just turn out better that way. And then I'll slice it and we'll just all have steak on our plate. So that's how I go through, and this right here will feed all four of us. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll do two if I'm planning on making something different down the road, like next day, day after. That way I have extra ribeye in there if I'm gonna make some cheesesteak, whatever. You know what I mean? Sandwiches for lunches, that kind of shit. But anyway, let's make a steak. So here we got our little beast here. Now, when I do my roast, I don't trim, I don't do anything before I vacuum seal it. I literally take the roast, I cut off my ends, I save those ends for use for burger meat, because all the other meats that I have, I always have cutoffs, and then I'll mix them together. So I'll have like ribeye and brisket burger, or beef loin and ribeye burger, or you know, you get what I'm saying. So I don't trim anything, but you kind of have to, you know what I mean? This fat right here, you don't want to eat that. You got that silver skin underneath it. All it does is stop flavor from getting into that steak. So we're gonna throw her on the board here. I probably should have sharpened this, but we're gonna hope for the not. And I trim them off just like that. Right before I'm gonna cook them, that way they're still protected. I don't have to worry about anything. None of my fat gets hard. I don't have to worry about nothing. So trim off any of this cud, any of this nasty shit. So then that way we have some nice fat, which will render beautifully. We have some meat exposed, which will pick up flavor, smoke, fire, seasoning, all that other good stuff. So we're just gonna trim these down just like this. Now this big hogger at the end right here, this is nothing. You just don't want it. So what I'm gonna do is I just take it off. It's pointless, it's useless. This little bit right here, that's nothing. See, there's nothing underneath it. So, and then I will just trim my corner out a little bit, trim my edges off a little bit. And then again, we have nice fat vein. That's actually soft fat, so it's gonna melt. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Over here, nope, that's all good stuff too. So now we got this nice ribeye ready to go, except for this right here. So yeah, Now, I always use my sheets, and I always use parchment paper for one. I can pick the side rub up, get it stuck to the sides, and two, I don't have to wash the trays, you know what I mean? So, because I'm lazy. Right here, I have my Maldine salt, flake salt. Love this shit. It's fantastic. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried this stuff, you got to, man. This is the stuff I get right here. You get it off Amazon. I think it's like 17 bucks for, this is like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of it. But here, let me grab a paper towel. I want to show you this, guys. It's salty. It's sea salt, but it melts into the meat, and it's not crazy salty. It's the stuff is just fantastic. Check this stuff out, man. You see how it is? It's just flakes. And they're real thin, real fine, and they just melt into the meat. And they are, it's awesome. So anyway, that's what I got in here. So I have salt, a tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, quarter crack, of course. I have a tablespoon of granulated garlic, a teaspoon of granulated onion, a tablespoon of chopped garlic. The granulated garlic melts into the meat, flavors it. That chopped garlic also flavors it, but it builds that nice crust on the top too, because it's, you know, it's chopped, it's coarse. I have a tablespoon of oregano, a teaspoon of oregano, teaspoon of dill seed, and a teaspoon of ancho chili powder. That's it. That's all I like to put on my steaks. That's what I do. So I don't put any oil, no spray. I let the meat hold my rub on. So what I'm gonna do here, give her a mix, make sure, and then I'm gonna hit it. Nothing crazy. It is a thick chunk of meat. A lot of that stuff will melt in. So I'm gonna throw some on there, you know. Ain't gonna be stingy with it. I'm gonna give it a little pat on the first layer and then throw just a little bit on there, and that's it. Now I'm gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes. I pulled the meat out. It is cold. So as I let it sit for about 15 minutes, all that rub, everything, as well as the meat warms up, because I don't put my beef on the grill unless it's room temperature. So I'm gonna let that sit for 15 minutes. We're gonna flip it over. We're gonna do the same thing to the other side, roll out our sides, and then let it finish off while I get the pit lit and all that other good stuff. So, all right, so here we are. Our rub's done its job. She's on there. It ain't going anywhere. So we're going to give this bad boy a flip, and I'm gonna do some edge rolling at the same time here. I'll do the other edges with the next pass. Again, it settles, so just give her a little mixy-mixy. Nice little coat. Spill a little bit on that parchment so I can use it for my edges afterwards and call it a day. So that's it. That's it. And I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna go fire up the pit. Typically I use the flat top because I like to open fire my steaks, but the 1500S does a fantastic job as well, and I don't feel like starting a fire. So that's what we're using tonight. So I'm gonna go light that bad boy up, and we'll come back and we'll cook this bad boy. All right, we're ready to cook our steak. Check it out, guys. So here we are. Made a beast. Get this guy set at 400. Got my plate open. And yeah, no, reverse sear and all that. It's just not my thing. So here we go. Toss that guy on that. And what I'm gonna do is usually let them go for about a minute or so. Flip it. Let that go for a minute or so. Flip it back around. That way you don't get that gray spot. Those gray lines that are surrounding. You get that beautiful color, that same cook right through the steak. So I'm gonna let let that go. I'm going to do a little fast forward on this because you don't need to see me standing here flipping steaks. And this is meant to just be a quick little something. So we're going to speed this up. We're going to cook this thing rapid fire. All right, our steak is done. This is what we got. Look at that beauty. Oh man. Here, I'll give you a view. Oh, holy hell. Everything's going down. All right. She is. Nice bark. Nice little crust. Nice sear. Let's get into it. It's like that. That's it. Simple process. This is how I do it. So, that's all I got.